Hello and welcome to this pick a card. We have 3 piles. We have some oracle cards out. I'm going to pull the rest as we go. We're going to take a look today at what do you have to look forward to. So this is pretty open. We're just going to see what is heading towards you that might just be change, might just be pleasant, might just be nice. Something for the better. That's what we're hoping for, okay? So what do you have to look forward to? So let's start off. We have pile number 1. So you get to choose from pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. I'm going to bring these a little bit closer so you can see if you're vibing with these colors. This first one is Orange Tiger Lily. And very fittingly, it has a number 1 here, and it was the first color that wanted to pop out. We also have Celebration Orange and Skyrocket Red. I mean, that's already pretty promising if you ask me. Pile number 2, we have Sea Glass Green, and the number on here is 5959. There's a bunch of other numbers, but I just want to point out what stands out to me. There's 166 here. So this is Sea Glass Green and Pastoral Jade and Forum Green. Very beautiful greens. And then we have lastly pile number 3, also greens, but a lot richer, a lot deeper. This is, it says 13 up here, 118. Hemlock Green, Dark Stormy Sky Green, and Deepest Woodland Green. Very, very rich. Beautiful colors. So, I'm going to give you a moment to zone in, and whenever you are ready, the timestamps are in the description below. Take a deep breath and see which color calls to you. Hi, pile number 1, if you chose these very bright orange and red tones with the clear number 1 up here in the corner, let me show you. This was really adamant about coming out first. So this is your pile, this is your reading. I'm going to set these off to the side. We're going to pull some other cards first, and then we'll check in with these at the end. I'm going to set them right here. Actually, I'm going to set them right here. So you know that this is your pile. Okay, so let's start off with some tarot cards. So again, we're taking a look at what do you have to look forward to. So I'm expecting that the cards that are going to come out will also tell us a little bit about where you're at right now and the process that you might be going through or needing to go through to get to the pleasant side of things, because we don't just get handed things. We earn. One more? Okay. Let's take a look. What do you have to look forward to? Pile 1. Yep. I mean, immediately with the red, there's definitely some passionate investment, right? And I felt that right away. I took a glance at the bottom of the deck, and there was an intense card already, so I got a pretty good idea of, and that's possibly also why I did that little introduction of, you know, having to possibly go through something to get to the sweeter aspects. So let me see what comes out before I get ahead of myself. Look at a lot of yellows, and yet a lot of passionate energy, a lot of this red that's bleeding into it energetically. Yeah. Okay. It seems like there has been a situation in the past that is sort of, it feels like the situation is done. It has unraveled, and now you're at a point of figuring out, okay, well, the situation has unraveled. Where do I go from here? What do I take from this situation? What do I leave? There's some taking accountability. What of this is mine, which I think is really important to do, and probably why you have something to look forward to, because yes, the Hierophant is here. There is definitely I'm hearing reckoning, and it looks pretty evil with the Tower, right? But I don't think it's that severe. It doesn't feel, but look at how these reds are coming out again. That's beautiful. The reds are here. There's definitely something that you're really passionate about, something that you are ready to invest in, because we have the Page of Pentacles here, and something that you're really passionate about here with the King of Wands. And I do find it interesting that everybody so far is looking, aside from the Hierophant, looking straight at us, but everybody else is looking towards what seems like to be the past. Yeah, I mean, the Ace of Rods with the King of Rods is very much like there's a, you know what I'm feeling? There is a recapturing of self, this is kind of hard to describe what I'm seeing, but you know how countries have borders, right? And those borders were established at some point. And let's say this feels like, I'm trying not to put my foot in my mouth with all the current events going on, but this does feel like drawing a border to reclaim something that was formerly yours, and for some reason you kind of lost control over. And I think Spirit is with you. Spirit is with you. And we have the King of Pentacles. So it's going to take work. I think there's definitely like a there's like a drive, a passion that is exciting you, and you're willing to put in effort, you're willing to put in an investment, and it's gonna pay off, because at the bottom of the deck we have the King of Pentacles, so going from the Page to the King. But it is gonna take some work, it is taking some effort, but at the same time you have all the motivation necessary. I want to pull a card specifically for this Tower. Yeah, it seems like there's just something that was heavily on your mind previously. You're just kind of moving on from, and we have the Hierophant here, and then right now the Hermit at the bottom of the deck, which means it feels like a spiritual shift in recognizing that this doesn't, whatever this situation was and whatever kind of cycles you've been in, that this doesn't hold the same power over you anymore, and that you're willing to grab the situation and gain from it. Like it just feels like we're going from swords to rods, which just feels less painful and less sharp and more productive. Yeah, see, I mean, this is again another card to clarify this. There's something that you're done overthinking, you're done running in circles, you're done emotionally squeezing yourself. It feels like reclaiming what you have control over. It's like these thoughts are, these swords were not helpful to you. But now you have these rods, and although it might be work in the long run, although it might take effort, you're going to be able to build something with this. If you have friggin' 10 swords, what are you going to build with 10 swords? You're going to build an army. That's just going to be hurtful. That's just going to lead to more pain. If you have 10 rods, there's all kinds of things you can build. Okay, so I think we have enough tarot cards. I think that's really beautiful. I think that's a really beautiful transition. And yeah, right as I said transition, the Chariot peeked out from underneath here. So I do want to take a look now at what oracle cards we have here, and then I'm going to pull some more. Focus on higher truths. Wow. So focus on higher truths goes beautifully with the Hierophant and the Tower. And again, like, not getting caught up in these, I'm hearing like little thoughts, but focusing, taking a step back and acknowledging the bigger picture, and really working with what you've been given. And I'm hearing that specifically because there's a symbol for Saturn right here. Working with what you've been given. Align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change. There's like this fracturing off, and this sharpness that we see in the swords is reflected again here. So very well might have been that your thought processes, the things that you were kind of hung up on were self-centered, in terms of not so much in a negative sense as in like it's only about you, but like you were being really hard on yourself. Boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? And see, this is beautiful because she's stretching out her arms, and this is what I was feeling with the reclaiming of space, reclaiming of something that was formerly yours. So this aligns beautifully with that. So in terms of what you have to look forward to, I think you have a reframing of your mind. I'm feeling like a more peaceful mind, a more cooperative mind. A more cooperative mind and space, like to really like stretch out. I feel like that's what you have to look forward to, which is really nice after all that sword energy, after all that like just mental exhaustion. And yeah, Spirit is here with the Tower and the Hierophant and the Hermit, but it's you. You got tired. The Tower came in because you got tired of that. You got exhausted. You wanted to move on from that. You got mentally and emotionally exhausted, and it's kind of like you were between a rock and a hard place and decided, well, if I can't go left, if I can't go right, then I'm going to go up. I'm going to go higher. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot of investment, a lot of effort. So I think you have a lot of self-satisfaction to look forward to. And again, not in like a selfish way, but in a very like peaceful and calm self-satisfaction, clarity. You have clarity, yeah. Focusing on higher truths is gonna help you make sense of things a lot more. And ritual. So ritual is often like finding a routine and finding a, oh look, at the bottom of the deck is spring, which is definitely like a beautiful expansion. And ritual again speaks to this effort that has to be put in. So if we put this in context of establishing your boundaries, your borders, right? This doesn't happen overnight. If you are reclaiming territory, if you're reclaiming a new border, which was an old border, this doesn't happen overnight. This doesn't just happen with saying one time, okay, this is how it is now. It takes continuous effort and continuous appreciation of your own worth to make sure that that border in those boundaries are respected. So I have 2 more that I want to pull from. Let's do this one first. This is a little mini deck that I have started. It's not done yet, so it's just kind of a small selection of cards, but it is quotes. Let's see what might come out. Ooh, nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Which speaks to, that's why there are so many swords that you had to carry, and speaks to this process wasn't just something to drive you mad. This process wasn't just something to put you into a state of agony. Like, you learned from those swords, you learned from those thoughts, and you are at a point, or you're about to be at a point, where you're really able to transmute those lessons into action. And that is the true test. And I don't even think you're gonna realize that you're doing it. Like, you're gonna look back at some point and be like, oh wow, that was like a test that I didn't even realize I was going through, and I aced it. And you didn't even bat an eye. 2 cards flipped. Treat yourself. Your problem is you're too busy holding on to your unworthiness. Yeah, see? You're not going to realize how much growth you actually are going through as you're going through it. So I want you to, because those swords aren't going anywhere. Like, yes, you're leaving them behind, but I know you still have them in your arsenal. So I want you to take stock and be very mindful. This is something about having weapons, you know? You have to be really mindful of safety, being able to have them in a safe manner. So don't use these swords against yourself. I'm getting that very strongly right now. You've been here before. The past is never where you think you left it. You've been here before. The past is never where you think you left it. Which kind of goes hand in hand with nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. And this feeling that I got earlier of like a cyclical kind of process of being stuck in like a thought pattern. I'm recognizing right now like these pink tones. So overall, I think you have a really profound peace of mind to look forward to, and I don't think you're going to appreciate it because you're not going to recognize it right away. You're like fired up, this red energy, right? And the fire energy that we saw with all the wands. You're really fired up, and it's like you're gonna feel like if you have nothing to show for your progress, then is it even progress? And I can tell you absolutely is. You've gone through such a shift from this end to this end, and there's just so much more self-awareness. But it's like I feel like you're gonna take it for granted. So I hope that this reading helps in recognizing that progress. And you absolutely should be proud of that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this resonated, and thank you so much for being on this journey with me. And I hope to read for you again. Bye. Pile number 2. This is your reading if you chose the sea glass green, pastoral jade, forum green. These are very serene colors. Getting a nice vibe off of these, so I hope you are relaxed. We're going to start your reading. I'm going to pull some tarot cards first. We're going to put this right here so you know you're in the right pile. And again, we're going to take a look at what do you have to look forward to. And of course, we are hoping for positive. It's kind of what we're going for here, but keep in mind that a lot of times positive comes after effort, after sometimes struggle, because life is a balance. It's a balancing act for sure. Okay, so I'm going to start pulling some tarot cards, and then we're going to get into oracle cards after. So let's see, what do you have to look forward to, pile 2? Oh, see, I didn't even need to tell you all that. You already know. You're already putting in the work. Or you have been putting in the work. You're waiting on something to fruition, and clearly it is. My goodness. Okay. We got the Ace of Cups and the Lovers. And the Nine of Cups. Madames and messieurs, you have a lot to look forward to. Wow. Look at that smug face. So smug. Okay, let me try and take a look at this before we get another aisle. Oh, I was gonna say another row, but another aisle. You know what happens in aisles. Just saying. Okay, so you have planted some seeds, and it looks like there is an outpouring of emotion, and this These are the seeds you planted. The outpouring of emotion is the water that helps nurture the seeds. And then here we have flowers blooming. And it's just gonna make you so smug. I mean, we have the lovers. The lovers, definitely, it doesn't always have to be about another person. It can very well be about finding your inner balance, which the Nine of Cups is definitely about, like finding appreciation for all the self-love that you have. But in this deck, I think the Lover speaks very strongly. I mean, can we just take a minute to appreciate this couple? They are stunning, beautiful. Oh, I better not get in trouble for that. For the fact that she's, you know, living free. I don't think so. Okay, yeah, so it feels like right now there is more this stillness. You've planted the seeds, and we have the Hangman down here, so it feels like more of a like waiting for the bus to come, waiting for the winds to change. Wow. Who's this? Oh! I said, who is this? And then I took a glance at the bottom of the deck and we have the Devil. It's okay, that's not necessarily a bad sign. This feels like a very driven, very determined energy. And this does not feel like your energy. This does feel like an external energy. I don't like to get ahead of myself because I'm not... My goodness. We have a Queen of Swords. I'm feeling a well thought out decision in love. A well considered offer and a well considered decision. Both very respectable people. And if you're picking up on a vibe on who's who, like this, don't be boxed in by the genders on the cards. We got two cards coming out for the last. We got the Ace of Rods and the Moon. And then at the bottom of the deck we still have the Devil, which is interesting. And then the Eight of Wands underneath that. And I was gonna ignore it, but it wouldn't let, like, Spirit wouldn't let me. Because it feels like this Devil might be some kind of test. This feels really right to put it in the middle. I'm not sure why. Let's figure that out. Let's figure that out. So, there's like a... What do you have to look forward to? I'm feeling a proclamation of wants and emotions. And it feels like you are already well aware. And yet this is an external energy coming in and you're already well aware and you're fine with it because it's like, well, I already have my cups. Like I'm pretty secure. Whatever you have to throw at me, bring it. And I don't know. Let's see what comes out with this Devil. Let me shuffle one more time. I'm not getting like bad vibes with this. This devil does look pretty intimidating, but I'm also looking at that candle that looks like it's been burning for a long time. Like it's something that's been there. Who's with this devil? The Eight of Wands again. And the Eight of Wands was underneath the devil earlier at the bottom of the deck. Why do we have... It feels, again, that goes hand in hand with this proclamation. Okay. I'm getting a sense of something lingering and possibly something lingering from the past, but I don't know. How does this relate? It does feel like something lingering from the past that is being worked out. And we have the Justice card. The kinks are being ironed out of a situation. What do you have to look forward to? Sorry. I'm going to take a look at this Nine of Cups and the Ace of Rods, because it's very much, a new beginning, a reclaiming of, because we have the Moon with this as well, a reclaiming of your emotional stability. Like you're going to be in a place of feeling really sure about, like very decisive and very sure. And I think that's a very calming thing to you. Like whatever this proclamation is, whatever this Eight of Wands and this devil energy is, if it had come at any other time, you wouldn't have had Nine Cups and the Queen of Cups. It would have been more confusing to you. And I say this because when I had about this many cards out, I did catch a glimpse of the Two of Coins at the bottom of the deck, and it felt very much like at this point things can still go either way. Now you're at a point where you are able to make a much more informed decision. Now, I can't tell you which way you should decide, which way. This is definitely like very, very real. This is real emotion. We have the Moon. There are real emotions, and there's real investment, and there was real work put in. That still doesn't mean that this is something that you have to accept. And another card for this other side to even it out. Yeah, see? Oh. We got two cards that flipped. This is a decision that you have to make, and you have to make it confidently. I can't tell you, but what you have to look forward to is the fact that you are able to make this decision from a much more stable place than you would have at any other point in time. And that's why I think I was getting these really kind of like relaxed vibes at the beginning. Like there's just this energy of not feeling like you have to go in this track or that track, but that you get to take your time, that you receive some type of emotional offer, and you get to take your time, because as real as this is, this was. As real as this feeling is now, that feeling was just as real in the past. Okay, I don't want to get too caught up in the he said, he said, she said. So let's take a look at your oracle cards. Become more objective. This is exactly what is happening. Like, you are much more in control of your own emotions, and so because of that, you can tell when your emotions are acting up. So you're able to make, I mean, look, we have the Queen of Cups, we have the Queen of Swords, we have the Queen of Wands. I strongly feel, despite whatever your gender is, whatever you identify as, the queens are your energy. Because we only had one king come up, and that clearly felt like an external energy. Your energy is these queen energies. And that is because you are coming from a more nurturing, more loving, and also I'm hearing more wounded place. And I think, again, if you had been faced with this decision at any previous point in time, it would have been overwhelming to the point that you would have decided, coming only from the perspective of the Queen of Cups, or coming only from the perspective of the Queen of Swords, or coming only from the perspective of the Queen of Wands. And now you've been able, it's kind of like you've gone through the motions, you've sat in each throne for a while, and now you're going to be able to make a much more informed decision that feels, no decision is going to be ultimately objective. You're still going to be, like, you're inherently subjective, right? But you're able to take a lot more things into consideration. And then we have Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. And heaven on earth, this is immediately connecting to the Lover's card for me, because the Lover's card in a traditional sense, and also in this one, you know, they're in a garden, creating heaven on earth, creating Eden, creating your own Eden. But this also feels like knowing that you are capable of creating your own Eden, and knowing, again, the Nine of Cups, knowing your worth, because you know how much of this water you are able to provide. Water is always being emotions. And then we have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? And again, this is tying together the energy of all these queens and really honing in that you are the one in control. You are the one that is meant to make the decision. But it is an external proposition. And you are meant to go from evaluating to deciding. And it does say, have you answered your deepest calling? I do believe you've been working on that. Okay, I'm going to pull some more oracle cards. I think what you have to look forward to is, again, this sense of assurance, the sense of taking a step in a direction and being sure-footed. Feeling like the ground underneath your foot is solid and not like shaky. Let's see what oracle card wants to come out. 2. This one. Tend. Ritual. This card came out for pile 1 as well. So Tend and Ritual, I think, focuses on not being distracted when the time comes to face this decision. Don't get too distracted by the Ace of Cups, and don't get too distracted by the devil reminding you of the past. There is a need for you to tend to yourself, to assure yourself of all of the knowledge you've gained from sitting in each of these Queen's thrones. You have gained so much insight, and you have gone through rituals. You have gone through phases. And this is asking you to recall that and to hold on to that knowledge, to not lose sight of the perspective that you have gained. Whew. Okay, I want to pull a card from this little mini deck that I have started. It's not complete, so there's not a lot of cards, but it does feel pretty accurate whenever I do use it. So this card is a bunch of quotes. So let's get a quote for pile 2. The secret is here in the present. If you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. The secret is here in the present. If you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. This is, I felt strongly that this first row is the present, that this is where you're at right now. And this card definitely very much connects to the Hangman. The secret is here in the present. If you pay attention to the present, you can improve upon it. It's definitely like taking a moment and being still and going within. You can improve upon it. Feels like this confirmation around taking in where you are at now and keeping that in mind when you make decisions. Because, and also it is building on the idea that you are the one in control. You are in control of improving your situation. Like when the reading started, like this love aspect was very strong, but I really think what you have to look forward to is not so much that offer of love. Like, yeah, that's nice, but I think the sweeter aspect is you realizing that you don't need it, that you realizing that what this one cup is offering you is nice, but also you have a lot of cups behind you and you have all this perspective that you've gained. It almost feels like it's not all that. And as I said that, I'm looking at her face. Come on. If I can pick it up. I'm looking at her face, and look at how sort of not impressed she is. She's like, okay. Okay, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna pull from one more deck, we have this right here, Cosmic Power. I am an instant star, just add water and stir. Yeah, this is realization that you are all that in a bag of chips just on your own. And that is a process that you do need to go through. And I have one more card, and I want you to take this card with a grain of salt. It is a beautiful card, but I find that the words on it can be a little bit triggering because, well, you know your story. This is the last card, Twin Flame. True love stories never have endings. And this is, of course, from the beautiful love story of Edward Scissorhands. True love stories never have endings. I will let you do what you believe is best with this sign. I'm not a twin flame reader. I really wish they had different wording on this card. Essentially, I do think that this is kind of like a repeat of the Lover's card, which I think is beautiful. So I think that kind of sums it all up. I think you have an offering to look forward to, and you are able to receive it well. I think that's the best way to put it. There's an offer coming your way and you're able to receive it well. That doesn't mean you have to take the offer. It doesn't mean you have to reject the offer. Whatever is true for you is true, and it just means that you are able to receive it, which is probably why it's coming in, because divine timing works like that. You're not going to be handed something before you are ready to receive it. So I hope that this resonates, and I hope that it helps. Maybe let me know in the comments, because I am kind of curious. So I hope to read for you again. Thank you, and have a good day. Hi, Pile 3. This is your reading if you picked the beautiful, luxurious, it really feels like almost royal, very fancy, hemlock green, dark stormy sky green, deepest woodland green. So I'm going to set these right here, and we're going to start off with some tarot cards, and then we'll check those oracle cards, and then I'm going to pull some more. So again, we are taking a look at what do you have to look forward to. And what I have seen in the other piles is that this can mean many things. This can mean blessings coming your way, but it also can mean a freeing of sorts, a process that you are about to go under of some kind of transition that puts you just in a much better state that you are in now. So again, can be many things. So let's take a look at what it is for you. What does pile 3 have to look forward to? These are 2 cards that came out. I'm not doing reversals right now, so interesting. Immediately feels like more serious energy, which I think kind of goes well with the dark, deepest woodland green. Definitely some serious vibes here. There is, sorry, almost had to sneeze. Okay, so you know what? I just had to almost sneeze, and it felt very intense, and it did not come. It just didn't happen. And I don't know why, but that feels like a message as well. Because this feels very intense, and then it's like there's this halting, and then like a softening. There's like this intensity, and then there's a softening. Let me get some more cards. This is interesting. Here's some of the swords. Immediately I'm feeling like making a call, making a decision to change a situation for the better. I just got 2 cards at once come out, and the bottom one doesn't feel right, so I'm keeping the Devil. The Devil also came out in the last reading, but it feels different here. It feels different. The last reading, the Devil was very confusing to me, and this feels a little bit more direct. There's definitely a softening and a change in direction, and it's for the better. I really like this. This is, in terms of what you have to look forward to, and it is spiritually guided, what you have to look forward to is like it feels like I'm hearing coming to terms. It's a coming to terms. If it feels like a coming to terms with something that you've done or a decision that you've made. A coming to terms with a situation as it played out, and the Devil offering you, no, don't you want to go back in this cycle? Don't you want to? No, like you want to stay because you've decided, you know what? I'm done feeling bad for this. I'm going to lighten up. And the Devil being like, no, here, drink some more Kool-Aid. Drink some more Kool-Aid. You don't want to feel better, do you? But you sticking to it and being like, no, I'm relieving myself of the things that are dragging me down. I'm taking with me only what supports me, and I'm leaving this emotional turmoil behind. And this is immediately rewarded. Immediately. And you are able to, this feels like a solitary kind of journey. But the moment that you make that turn, you see how he's facing that way and the Fool is facing that way? The moment that you make that turn, you're supported by others. Let's get some more cards. Yep, the 9 of Cups. It's like, no, I've had it. And this is so beautiful. So we have the 8 of Cups here, right? Being the Fool up here is the decision to be like, you know what? No, I'm gonna turn this ship around and we're gonna head the other way. And the Eight of Cups confirms leaving. This card shows a person leaving these cups behind in search of more. And that's why it is followed by the Nine of Cups, by someone who has found more. Someone who is really self-satisfied because they have found more. So, and as quickly as that came out, and the Seven of Wands here is a card of victory. Well, you know what? That's funny. That's funny. My brain absolutely made me see this as victory when it is actually more, the traditional card is more kind of fighting obstacles, because I was thinking of the Six of Wands. That is so funny. But I'm still receiving this as accomplishing. This doesn't change the message, because I see this as accomplishing and overcoming and then still being celebrated. So this doesn't negate what message I was receiving. That is just funny on my end. Entertaining for me. But yeah, so the quickness with which we go from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups in this, like immediate rewards. Immediate rewards just from you. Yeah, Six of Cups. Just from you taking control and saying, you know what? I don't want to be this harsh anymore. I don't want to be this brazen. I don't want to be this edgy. And then the devil, like the self-doubt, your ego kicking in and being like, no, you wanna stay right where we are, right? This is more comfortable. And you doubling down and being like, nope, I don't want that. And immediately you get rewarded for it. You get rewarded and you get to be proud because you've made it out of that cycle. And it gives you like a position of innocence. And that's why I think with this earlier I felt like kind of like a guilt. And it might be like a cycle of shaming yourself, but there's this reclaiming of innocence, this reclaiming of purity. Like not all is lost in the Hermit. And I think this really opens you up to going even deeper, because the Fool is like, he's ready to go on this journey and he doesn't even know where it's gonna take him, and he's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, that sounds fun. Like, yeah, let's just try it. And the Hermit is very deliberate and very like, no, I know I'm going deeper than I've ever gone before. I'm committed to figuring this out. Which I think this is a beautiful transition, because it really goes from being stuck in something to self-motivating your own journey, and then working through some issues, being rewarded, feeling proud, regaining a sense of innocence, and then this process, because it's like you've created a reward system. Like you were previously stuck in this negative cycle and you were like really good at it, so now you're still kind of addicted to being in a cycle, but before you you were probably stuck in a reward cycle that wasn't actually rewarding, and now you found a reward cycle that is in fact rewarding, and now you're doubling down. You're like, oh yeah, let's do this again. Let's do that again. I can do it again. And you're really kind of like motivated. It feels like, you know, when you get started at going to the gym, like you haven't gone in forever and you're feeling kind of down about it, and you're eating junk food, and this first cycle would be to really tell yourself, like, no, that's it, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna go to the gym. And you do it, and like, yeah, the first week or so it's no fun at all, but then once you start making like the first gains and you don't feel as bad after every workout, then you're like, oh, now I'm gonna lift some weights. Like, now I'm stoked to be here, and I want to, like, I want to do more. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm liking this, so let's take a look at your oracle cards. Ooh, we have show self-respect. And I think that really works beautifully, because it is this transition of like being really hard on yourself to gaining some pride and some self-compassion. So that is, I think, very fitting. The Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits and soul tribe, which goes very well with the Hermit. So really like doubling down on your intuition and following like the more positive cycle. And also it's all coming together as picking up on this Three of Cups of community and finding that you are supported once you are putting yourself out there. And then we have Starseed, what lights you up. And this is this idea of also the Hermit. Notice that she is by herself and really reflecting what lights you up. The Lantern. This beautiful reflection of the Hermit card, which just means that you're being pushed in a direction to consider what lights you up, the Sun card, versus staying stuck in that negative thinking pattern. That is beautiful. I'm going to pull some more oracle cards. I think you're going through a process of being less harsh to yourself. And I think that takes a lot of effort, and especially if you're going that path alone. Having compassion for yourself takes a lot out of you, and I want you to know that I am cheering you on. So let's take a look. What is coming out for pile 3? That was fast. Who's there? Yeah, you're taking a really good look at yourself, and it might be that what you see in the mirror is just like in the metaphoric mirror is not what you want to see, and so you are making a conscious decision to change that. The Sun in eclipse. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. And at the bottom of the deck we have Rise Up. This is so beautiful because we have the Sun card here, and we have this Knight of Swords, which isn't inherently bad, right? But along with this Devil card, it just was giving me a really like harsh energy. And so to have this Sun in eclipse, it really just means that this is something that is not set in stone. This is a moving target. The Sun in eclipse, the Sun is being eclipsed, but it will not always be eclipsed. This is moving, and at some point the Sun will be revealed, and that is what's going to energize you. That is what's going to help you motivate yourself to get out of that cycle. That is beautiful. And I'm so excited for you because it is just really difficult to motivate yourself. So maybe try and focus on things that you just start small, things that you can improve in your everyday life to help you keep you motivated. So this deck right here is just a little mini deck that I've started. There's not a lot of cards, but it's pretty spot on. So I like pulling from it, and these are quotes. So give me a quote for pile 3. My voice is getting a little bit raspy. This is the 3rd reading I'm doing, and it feels almost like this has to do with you also like hitting like this exhaustion, but I'm obviously not going to stop talking. I'm just going to keep going, you know. Can I get a quote for pile 3? You cannot save people, you can only love them. Can we focus? You cannot save people, you can only love them. This is, I want to pull another one. I'm not sure why. Everybody else only got one. But I want to pull another one. But this is connecting for me to that feeling of shame or guilt. Like there's something that you possibly weren't able to reconcile with yourself because you, especially because it is a Knight of Swords, right? What does a Knight of Swords do? Is a knight in shining armor. Now imagine how this knight in shining armor feels when he has to come back home and he wasn't able to slay the dragon. He wasn't able to save the princess in the tower. That's got to be pretty heavy. A path is made by walking on it. See, that's why I knew there was supposed to be another card. Focus. A path is made by walking on it. And that's definitely something that I want you to keep in mind as you go from this negative cycle to a more positive cycle, is that you may not see the path ahead of you, but you are the one creating the path. You are the one and again, I want to pick up on the Hermit card. The Hermit also does not follow a path. He creates a path. And he has this lantern. I think we even had... No, that was Rise Up. Come on. He has this lantern, and this lantern guides him. And that lantern represents spirit. So really getting in touch with your intuition will help you proceed on this path that you're on, that you're creating, not that you're on. You're creating this path yourself, which again speaks to this journey that you're doing on your own. But you won't be alone for long. Nope. People trample over flowers, yet only to embrace a cactus. And embrace your growth. A weed is but an unloved flower. Wow. The synchronicity we have here between a cactus and a weed is but an unloved flower. People trample over flowers, yet only to embrace a cactus. So there's this idea of like some people like one thing, some people like another. Like this isn't about what other people embrace or appreciate about you. This is about you really taking care of yourself and finding your way back to yourself. Just making sure I covered it all. I think that is all. I feel nothing else coming through. So, again, I want to say that I think you're doing an amazing job. You're about to be, if you're at the beginning of this, don't be afraid. You absolutely are well equipped to take this journey, and that's why it came up as something that you have to look forward to, because it's going to be a beautiful journey. And I think you're really going to, once you're like in it, you're really going to appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this helped, and I hope I get to read for you again. Take care.